The national that we have not talked enough about so far might be your third baseman, Brady House. Don't be surprised if he's got a breakout season in 2026.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And I am your host, Ryan Clary. You can find me on Twitter at RyanClary11, as we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team each and every single day. And later on in today's show, we've got some news regarding some spring training. I'm going to kind of empty out the trash cans at that point, so stay tuned for that conversation later on in the show today for some of the latest spring training headlines. And of course, Jake Eder and left-handed pitcher Shinnosuke Ogasawara, they will be starting the split squad scrimmage on Saturday. It's actually not the split squad spring training game, whatever you want to call it. One of those games will be televised on Nationals TV. I almost said Masson there, but Masson is no longer a thing for the Washington Nationals. But stay tuned for that conversation later on in the show today. But we start off discussing why I think a lot of people may overlook former top prospect Brady House. I think that Brady House, if you look at his 2025 rookie season, there were a lot more struggles than improvements, if we're just being honest. And if you look at some of the numbers regarding Brady House, you can see really why he struggled and where some of those struggles came from in 2025. And here's the good news about that. His struggles are not atypical when it comes to a rookie, young 21, 22-year-old making the jump up into the major leagues. What I found from Brady House, in which was a pretty lackluster rookie season, I think we could say, was issues that you see from a lot of younger guys. And here exactly is what went wrong for him. In 2025, he only had 4 home runs in 73 games alongside 11 doubles, and that was really as much as he did as far as damage goes. He had a .322 slug, and when you are Brady House, you're not expecting him to hit for .310 as his batting average. We want to see power. And he is brought here to hit for power. That's what he was thought of to be when the Nationals drafted him back a handful of years ago. And that's what the Nationals developed him to be, which is a right-handed power bat. What we saw from this past season is not the Brady House that you will see in 2026. In fact, I think there are a lot of small tweaks that he can make to make him that power hitter that we all thought that he would be entering this past season. If you look at some of the preliminary numbers from Brady House's rookie season and kind of take a deep dive into what some of these things mean, he was not hitting for power on fastballs. In fact, for guys like Dylan Cruz, who we talked about, and he's okay, Dylan Cruz coming out of the minor leagues, crushes fastballs. If a pitcher is going to throw him a fastball 75% of the time, Dylan Cruz would have been an all-star bat this past year. That's how good he is against fastballs. Brady House, it was the opposite for him. In fact, all 4 of his home runs came off of breaking pitches. And those aren't just a curveball that's floated inside the zone. That is something that he has actually done pretty well over the years, hitting against some pretty powerful breaking balls. But I want to see him also start to turn on the fastball. And I think a lot of times last year, it's easy to say for younger guys, you're he's not catching up to the fastball here. Well, that's the way that we all kind of viewed Brady House. And then you look at the numbers and you're okay, that actually backs it up there. His pulled ball percentage was around 32% from this past year. The MLB average is right around 37.4%. So it's not as if that he's not pulling the ball and not catching up to fastballs. He is a tick below average. But here's the thing. That is something that you can easily tweak. And I think that the Nationals, with this coaching staff today, This is why you bring in this young player development, front-minded kind of coaching staff here in town. You want to see these small differences transfer into bigger results. And I think with this kind of driveline approach of using data science and analytics and having these traject arc machines to make sure these guys are prepped and well aware of what they're going to be going against each and every single day. This is kind of one of those things where I think the coaching staff could fix some of these issues. So when looking at Brady House's numbers and kind of the things that he can improve on, I look at that right away and I'm like, okay, this is not some major issue. Like, I think for Dylan Cruz, not hitting breaking balls for him, that is a little bit more of an issue than Brady House. Because if you look with Dylan Cruz didn't really crush breaking balls either in college or throughout the minor leagues, and let alone now up in the major leagues as well. That's more of a concern than Brady House not turning on the fastball. And also looking at it as well, he had a -7 run value against fastballs, meaning that he created -7 runs against fastballs. Typically, you want that thing in the positives, and it was at -7. The worst pitch, as far as his breaking pitches as well, going up against a changeup, like that's pretty bad. So I think right now, the tweak that Brady is going to make, and if I am the coaching staff of the Nationals, is number one, you're working on his bat speed. And number two, you want him to start turning on that fastball because he's got the frame and the makeup to be that power hitter that I think a lot of people expected him to be. But it's about turning these small flaws and turning them into strengths. And if he can improve his bat speed, then of course, you're going to start to see him turn on breaking ball pitches and turn on these fastballs that are reaching up in the upper 90s. This is an issue that will and can be fixed. So I think that right now, while the numbers from last year with Brady House, offensively speaking, they were pretty poor. I think the Nationals can ultimately turn that thing around in 2026. And I think with Brady House, the lack of power that you saw from this past season will not translate into 2026. There will be some questions along the lines here of like, can this Nationals team just make everyone better? And can this new player development regime really kind of find some flaws and turn some flaws of these guys into strengths? We don't know at this point. But that is why you bring them here. And again, we talked about this all offseason long. The Nationals have not made any major moves, which we expected outside of trades, obviously. But you also expect that some of these guys and these younger guys on the Nats roster will turn it around and will start to look a little bit better. And if you can get all 9 guys to be a little bit better, then this team won't be as bad as the 62 wins that some people project for them right now. That's your kind of hope. And I think the hope for Brady House and kind of what makes him a little bit better is if you start to see him hitting for more power against fastballs. And really, what does that mean? If he can start turning on fastballs, improve that bat speed, and again, get that run value up. Because we're talking about someone, if he can hit and if he can hit for power, we're talking about a pretty complete player. He's not some blazer that's going to steal 30 plus bases a year, but he's not a slow sprinter by any means. If you look at what Brady House does best and what he did best this past season, he wasn't playing elite defense by any means, but he was playing above average defense over at third base. And by the way, this is someone who Brady House was drafted as a shortstop. Everyone kind of knew that he would eventually move over to third base, and he's been playing third base since 2022 at this point. So he's gotten plenty of reps over at third. But also, I think he has the potential to be a pretty elite defensive third baseman. He kind of reminds me, like, think back to when he was first called up. The guy that he reminds me of is kind of Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman is someone who's terrific defensively. One of the best defensive third basemen that you will see in today's game. But also, he's got the potential to hit 30, 35, 40 home runs as a right-handed power bat. If Brady can be that elite defensive kind of guy. Not as good defensively as Matt Chapman, but just a very good elite top 5 defensive third baseman on top of someone who can hit 30 to 35 home runs and has light pull home run power. That is an all-star caliber player. I think Brady could get to that point. And again, if you make some of these small tweaks and if you get him to start turning on fastballs and if you get him to improve that bat speed and also as well, improve that strikeout rate, be more disciplined in the zone, take your walks, get on base, build some more confidence, we could be talking about a really good special player. So he right now may be the National that we don't talk enough about, but I bet you at some point in 2026, we'll be looking back and saying, why did we not buy more stock into Brady House? That's the way that I feel about him entering this season. But let me know what you think. You can tweet at me at Ryan Clary 11. And again, look up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcast. But next, I want to get into just some news and notes. And the Nationals have actually named a starter, 2 starters for Saturday's scrimmage spring training game 1 of the offseason. I cannot wait for it. You've got Astros, Nationals, and then you've got Nationals, Cardinals. You love to see it. Baseball is almost 48 hours away. So let's talk about that after this. Ever want to experience the NBA Finals live and in person? FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn that dream into reality with their NBA sweepstakes. And here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. That's right. Flights, tickets, the whole experience. And if you're already looking at the board and thinking about which team can make a deep run, this is the perfect time to lock it in. Whether it's the Lakers and the Celtics again, you could even see a team like the Timberwolves and the Celtics or the T-Wolves and the Knicks. I love futures this time of year, and whether it's picking a team to win the championship or grab a conference title, it adds that extra layer of excitement to every game down the stretch. And now, not only can your pick cash, but it could also send you to the finals. So visit FanDuel.com to get started and use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. There is baseball on your TVs coming up this weekend with the Nationals playing multiple games in the spring training trek that starts on Saturday. So we are just about 48 hours away from the Washington Nationals taking on the Houston Astros and as well as the St. Louis Cardinals. But let's talk about the pitching matchups, because yesterday the Nationals announced the starter for the game that we will be able to watch here in the nation's capital over on Nationals TV, which, by the way, that's going to be kind of interesting as well, because you get to see Dan Kolko, Kevin Franson, and Alexa Dat make their TV debut as a team. That'll be kind of cool to see them. But as we mentioned, the Nationals, again, their first game, they've made their pitching matchups announcements, and Jake Eder, the left-handed pitcher, will be getting the start for the Washington Nationals on Nationals TV. 1:05 first pitch against the Houston Astros at Cacti Park. And then the second game is Nationals Cardinals. That will not be on TV, but I do believe one of these games over the weekend will be on the radio. It will be for the Cardinals on Saturday, and then on Sunday as well, you'll be able to listen over on 106.7 The Fan to the Nationals Marlins game. But let's talk about the pitching matchup here. I'm just going to say this, not that Blake Butera and Paul Toboni and Ani Kilambi should be making decisions based on this, but what are we doing here? Jake Eder has made 3 starts down in the minors for the Nationals this past season. He was traded for when the Nationals traded Luis Garcia in another arm. He came back in return from the Angels and again made 3 starts in the National system, a couple in Harrisburg and 1 in Rochester. Doesn't have the best numbers down in the minors across 4 different seasons in the minor leagues. He's got like a north of 5 ERA at this point. This is someone, a left-handed pitcher, coming out of the college ranks, like not the most exciting pitching matchup. And that's what I'm kind of getting to. Can we kind of build some excitement maybe for this season? Like, why don't we just get Cade Cavalli out there? What's that? Why can't we have Cade Cavalli? Why is Josiah Gray not going to be 100% at this point? Like, is he ready to take that step up and start on opening day? I don't really know. Why not Jake Irvin, Mitchell Parker? Give me something and give me someone that I'm like, yes, I want to watch that. And it's not to say I will not watch every second of that spring training game. I'm dying for baseball. You're dying for baseball. We're going to watch it regardless. But Jake Eder, I guess that's what we're doing. So he'll get an inning or two for the Nationals, and then we'll get into the bullpen. Maybe Brad Lord comes in the game, and we'll see what they have as far as pitching plans go. But you've got baseball on your TV this weekend, and the game will be free on Nationals TV. But here's what I do say. Like, here's what I want, and here's what I am hoping for. Give me Harry Ford on my TV. Like, I get it that they're building up for opening day. They don't care about what the viewer wants to see. They are trying to win. They want to give their guys opportunities, but also, can you give me Harry Ford on television? Can you give me something to watch? Just give me that little nugget. Just give me that piece of chick, whatever it is. I want to see the young guys play on my TV on Saturday. We're all so desperate at this point for baseball that, like, when it comes to spring training, you think about it in mid-August and you're like, gosh, that is a brutal game to watch. When it comes to the Astros and the Nationals spring training game, you're like, ugh, that is an ugly split squad game. But are you telling me right now that at 1:05 p.m. on Saturday, hopefully it's a beautiful day over in West Palm Beach, you won't be tuned in? It does not matter. You could put together an entire minor league squad team and I would still watch. I just want to see my guys. And I think Harry Ford and guys like Luis Perales and Gavin Feen, like, put them on my TV. I want to see what these new guys can do. And also, by the way, like, they should be playing. Like, these are guys that, like, especially Harry Ford. He's got the he's got the World Baseball Classic coming up in just 2 weeks from now. Like, he's going to be gone for a good solid week and a half out of spring training here to represent Great Britain. You're going to need to give him opportunities early and often. And by the way, he's going to have to ramp up to get ready for the World Baseball Classic. And I think part of spring training is that you can ramp up to the regular season to avoid injuries and strengthen your body and get used to it and get adjusted to the everyday life of being a baseball player. So I think that Harry Ford, again, getting thrown in the competition of the WBC, you've got to work his way up into it. So hopefully the Nationals give him the innings that he needs early on in spring training. He's going to be getting ready for competition. I don't want to see any injuries out there. So I think Harry Ford, like, give me that guy. And if he is going to be a starting catcher between one of these two games on Saturday, give it to me on TV. And I hope that Blake Butera is out there listening to Locked On Nationals and Paul Toboni and Ani Kilambi, and they're saying, like, you know what? Let's give this fan base, let's throw them a bone. Throw them a treat. Would be that treat. So give me Harry Ford on my TV. And of course, in the second game there, you got our guy, Shino Ogasawara. He will be making the start as well. 2 left-handed pitchers for the Nationals on Saturday. Shino, my guy, I mean, he actually has some nasty stuff at times. But when you have a fastball that's throwing 91, 92 miles per hour, really sitting 90 at some points, you're going to have to blow people away with some breaking pitches. And I don't think that he is just ready to take that next jump into the major league. So hopefully things go well. You don't want to see any injuries. It's game 1. The Nationals are going to have some fun. And that's really all that you can expect moving forward. But speaking of expectations moving forward, one thing that I saw yesterday from the Nationals front office that I thought was really cool was General Manager Ani Kilambi being the side fields over at Cacti Park and did some pretty cool gestures, I thought, And I think it kind of goes to show you what this new Nationals regime will be like. So stay tuned for that conversation after this. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, and inbox overflowing, and the one position that you have to fill still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed, sponsored jobs help you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute that I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. We're back here on Locked On Nationals, and one thing that I saw from new general manager yesterday, Ani Kilambi, that I thought was a pretty cool gesture and just kind of goes to show you what the Nationals will be like moving forward. I saw him picking up baseballs after batting practice in yesterday's side field work, and I thought that was really cool. You may look beyond that and say, like, okay, well, who cares about that? But I think it kind of goes to show you, like, this new player-friendly regime here in town. And these guys, like, for being so young, they understand the human aspect of it. And it's not to say that Mike Rizzo and everyone else from the previous regime did not. They all had that skill in their toolbox as well. This regime does as well. And I think that it's easy to kind of look at them and say, like, okay, well, they're these young 31, 35-year-old, 28-year-old hotshots that are coming over from a lot more minor positions and stepping into major roles, with an assistant GM with Toboni being the president of baseball operations, an assistant GM with Ani Kilambi stepping in to be the general manager of a ball club, a minor league manager stepping in to be a major league manager. Like, you have got some things where it's like, okay, like, this is where some people you can really kind of determine what kind of human they are and what kind of leader they will be. But you have seen that these guys just get it. And I think every step of the way, like, we have raved about Paul Toboni all offseason. Easy to understand why he got the job. He's personable. He understands baseball. He's data-driven, and he's easy to relate to. And I think that the messaging so far this offseason has been pretty clear from a baseball perspective. Like, he wants to make the Nationals better. Like, he is going to be very transparent when it comes to that and when talking about trades. And I think that kudos to him for that. Ani Kilambi, we have not really gotten to know too much, but I thought seeing that yesterday, I was like, that's a really cool thing to see from your general manager. And again, it's not to say that the other regime did not do that, but seeing that from these younger guys and not being like, you guys can go pick up the baseballs, kind of a cool thing. And you don't really see that all too often. And you don't really see GMs, by the way, leave their golf cart all too often when it comes to spring training and sitting on the bleachers and just kind of overviewing everything. And it's not to say that that's wrong, but a boots on the ground approach from your GM, you like to see that. And we've seen the same from Toboni and a couple of other front office personnel as well. So cool to see that. And it's cool to see that Nationals baseball is just 2 days away from watching every single day moving forward. So thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one. Go Nats.